I'm here with the LFFU, the Leave Fossil Fuels Underground Research Activism Consortium. It's a group that the University of Amsterdam has pulled together, but it's here at the Simon Bolivar University, very well rooted in the study of why we need to compensate areas and countries, and the peoples especially, for leaving oil and gas and coal untouched and leaving it underground so as not to create more climate change and not to destroy biodiversity. Durban, South Africa is the main refinery site for the region, and it's in fact the largest refinery in Africa, in South Durban. It's been a subject of great controversy for decades because it's located, especially BP, Shell and Engen, the three big oil companies, in a residential area, and it's black people. Technically we have a name colored for mixed race, and people of Indian origin. And a little bit further away are African blacks, and even further away, safely out of harm, are whites. And in that area of South Durban, the damage being done, especially through very local level emissions to the residents. For example, the primary school, Settlers Primary, has a 52% asthma rate at the last measurement. And although sulfur dioxide emissions have been reduced and it's not as bad, the main problem is we're looking at a doubling of the refining capacity in the coming 10 years. And we know the government wants to do that because its main agent, Transnet, has just doubled the pipeline size from Durban to Johannesburg. And so we're worried about increased refining, but also exploration has begun offshore by ExxonMobil, by Statoil from Norway, by Eni from Italy, and South Africa's own Sasol. And so there's a very powerful community group, the South Durban Community Environmental Alliance, and they're fighting tooth and nail against the expansion of the port petrochemical complex and the offshore exploration. So in 2012 through 2017, we've already been subject to different rounds of the seismic testing as they go deeper and deeper. They're going to 3.5, 4 kilometers deep, where they anticipate that they'll be able to drill and find especially gas. Now, as they bring their ships through to have explosions that create the seismic waves to measure the bottom to assess whether there might be gas or oil, they're doing enormous damage to our marine life. So we've seen whales coming up, beaching themselves, and it's happening so often now that it must be quite closely correlated, because oftentimes the exploration continues into the whale migration season. Now, don't forget, this is an area that once had the biggest whaling station in the world, and certainly in the southern hemisphere. It was the Norwegians. And we saw the near extinction of those whales up till 1976, when the United Nations imposed a moratorium on this sort of whaling. But now we're seeing the same oil company, Statoil, from that same country. It's just a different kind of extraction of oil. In that earlier case, it was whale oil, and now whales are dying in order that Statoil, ExxonMobil, Eni, and Sasol can explore for oil and gas. Yes, the Yasuni project and the extremely courageous Yasunidos, groups like Acción Ecológica that were nearly banned by Rafael Correa, they've inspired us, partly because just fighting back for environmental justice is crucial. And when Rafael Correa can double-cross a movement by making an offer that he will leave the Yasuni oil underground, at the same time he's negotiating with the Chinese to drill, and then failing to get the elites of the world, the people most responsible for climate change, the northern governments and corporations, to pay the $3.5 billion that would be required to leave the oil in the soil, and failing to do that, then to let the Chinese drill. Your continuing ability to fight back and to have a project of Yasuni 2.0 to renew the struggle is going to be vital. I think what we need to do is reproduce the same kind of politics. That is, the demanding that the climate debt of the North, the global North, myself included, be paid through making sure that the social movements, the activists, the environmentalists are stronger, that their organizations have more capacity. And that would be, to me, the ideal way that a climate debt could be paid to activists in South Durban, in Fuyeni, Somkhele, Mfolozi, our coal site that's under similar struggles against coal invading a very biodiverse area where the white rhinoceros was saved at Africa's oldest game park. And I think in all of those ways, Yasuni is a model for north-south people-to-people collaboration that will be of an eco-social justice nature. It brings it all together in a way we have to start replicating. This time we must win.